Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. That's 10 a.m. if you're in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Do remember though, if you do miss a live stream, you can catch up at any time by clicking the videos tab on my Twitch channel. Smurfberry Barbecue, it's good to see you. Hello, it's me, and I'm not muted today. That's good. I was saying yesterday, I don't know whether I should be insulted because you muted me, but that's cool. Good to see you, Smurf. We're going to continue working on the House in the Hollow game, which you can wishlist right now on Steam. Just click the graphic in my panels below my stream or type exclamation Steam in Twitch chat. Don't forget too, if you want to join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, you can do that by clicking the graphic in my panels or typing exclamation Discord in Twitch chat. How about that? I do like to look at the work you guys are making. So on the Discord server, there is a gallery section where you can show off your work. And there's also a section where you can link to your ArtStation or your portfolio. So we're working on the attic for the House in the Hollow game. We started doing that yesterday, setting it up. We're going to continue doing that today. So let's jump into Unreal. Now, the only change I've made since yesterday is the wall paneling here. I've added, let me explain what's going on with the wall panel. I want to try and reduce the amount of new textures I introduce into the game because of texture budgets and all that sort of stuff. So I'm reusing paneling we're using in other parts of the building, which is all well and good, but the panels were too clean because we're up in the attic now and we're going to be adding a really dirty floor and stuff here. So the panels were just looking too clean. So what I've done is I've duplicated the material for the panel that we're using downstairs and I've overlaid just a dirt alpha map over the top of that. So Smurf says Phil is used to working within texture budgets. That's right. Oh, you know me too well. No, they've told me I must if I can work within my texture budget. I don't like it, but I have to. So yeah, normally what I would do if I had free reign would be I would redo this texture in Substance Painter and I'd make a couple of versions of it to make them all a bit more unique as far as the dirt pattern goes. But we don't have that luxury. So again, what I've done is I've used the original material that we're using downstairs on the clean versions. So we don't increase our texture budget, except for one texture, which is an alpha map of a dirt texture that is being overlaid using a multiply. It stands out a lot here in unlit mode, but when you go into lit mode, it's a lot more subtle. So don't think once we go into lit mode and the lighting is actually rebuilt correctly, it's much more subtle. So it just stands out in unlit mode. So yeah, that's a change I made, and I've also added these lion heads to either side of the spiral staircase. I did that just to add a bit more interest to the steps as you come up. You'll see these nasty looking heads. It also helps to keep things looking consistent because we're reusing those heads in this room here as well for the main central stair section here. So let's keep going with our paneling for the walls though. So let us need to duplicate, I believe it's this one. We're duplicating it as much as we can so we can then create hardware instant static meshes, HISM. Let's rotate that around. I need to flip that actually on the y-axis. And I also need to flip it on the x-axis. Can Phil get through these rooms without spoiling the other rooms? Oh man, the hoops these people want me to jump through at the game studio, I tell you. And it looks like I've got it around the wrong way. So we're going to flip it on the Y again. There we go. I think for this one, I'm going to probably duplicate one of these smaller sections. Should be good. Do remember, guys, as always, if you have any questions while I work, feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If you just want to say hello, that's always welcome, but if all you want to do is watch, that's completely fine. Oh no, they're not going to be happy with me. I'm in a room I shouldn't be in. I see. Okay. I think what I might do here is Android Lust. Where is he? Is he here? Oh, Android Lust. Thank you for the resub. How long have you been subbed for? 32 months, man. Android Lust, you are awesome. Thank you for resubbing. I do appreciate it, guys. When you do subscribe to the channel, it does help me and the channel out. So thank you, Android Lust, you're awesome, for the 32-month subscription. Wow. This panel is a little bit small, so I think what I might do here is we'll keep it because we'll probably use it somewhere else in the room, but I think I'll grab one of the bigger pieces instead. Because why not? Let's rotate it 180 degrees rather. Make sure they're lined up. I believe they are. And let's duplicate it one more time again. And it doesn't matter, we go past this, which is actually a doorway. I'm just going to sort of explain what's going on here. This is a fake doorway. Now this is going to be a doorway that's probably going to piss some players off because they can't open it. I'm going to put some stuff in front of it, but it's basically just, and you won't see the wall behind it because that's going to be black. But it's basically to make the attic look bigger than it actually is. So it makes it fakes the fact that it looks like there's another room here behind the attic, which there actually is. If I go in here, we do have another attic we could add here, but I'm not going to be doing that because it's unnecessary for the game and it's going to start pushing out times and stuff too much. So I thought I'd fake it by adding a doorway which leads nowhere that you can't open. Again, I don't like doing that in a game because seeing areas that you can't access in a game sometimes can be a bit frustrating for the player, but it's the only place where it's going to be done. So I thought, oh, we'll risk it. We'll risk pissing the player off just for here. I'm just going to move these up a little bit because they're a little bit low. So you guys will know because you're watching the live stream, but people playing the game probably won't. And they might get frustrated, but anyway. Android Lust says, spoiler. That's right, it's a spoiler. It's good to see you, Android Lust. And like I said, thank you for the 32-month sub. You are awesome. Absolutely awesome. It does help the channel out, guys, when you sub, so I do appreciate it. So yes, it is a spoiler. But it's the only place in the game where there'll be something like this that you can't access. It's a fake doorway. Okay, this one. I'm going to try and... Let's grab these two. Actually, let's do it one at a time. What am I doing? I am going to flip it on the X. I moved it. Did not want to move it. There we go. I might scale it just a little bit as well, just so we get a better match up along that edge. It's because this ceiling is at a different angle than the one in the other room, but because we want to reuse the assets, I can scale it in just a bit and you won't notice any difference. So let us duplicate these two panels. And I want to get my panel positioning correct, so I'm going to bring this one forward a little bit to match up with these ones. Just make sure I'm underneath of that, the rim of that board. I am. How much am I? Yeah, no, I might just move these panels back actually. Because I want having a bit of a border there will create some nice lighting effects. So if the panels were sort of like sitting too flush with this beam, it wouldn't look as good. Having it set in a little bit will give us some nice lighting effects. So that's what I'm trying to say, and not doing a very good job of it, as usual. We'll move these over a little bit. And looks like I'm a little short there, so I think that will probably be a good spot for this smaller piece. I knew it'd come in handy somewhere. Smurfberry says, what's the floor going to be? Hardwood. Yes, it is going to be hardwood. Now, I did create a smart material in Substance Alchemist that I was planning on using for the floorboards. But then I thought, well, maybe I should reuse the same smart material we used for the entryway, you know, downstairs before you get to the spiral staircase. There's a wooden floor there as well. So I thought, oh, I wonder if I should reuse that. So if I go back here, down here, see we have this floor. So I did create a new texture that I was thinking of using for upstairs. But now I'm thinking, I wonder if I should reuse this smart material we created just to keep consistency again. We'll look at that when we jump into Substance Painter. We'll see which one looks better and we'll go from there. We might even do a mix of the two. We'll see how we go. we'll play around in Substance Painter and see what looks good. Okay, so now we should be able to duplicate these two. Again, we need to flip it on the X. Because this side should be identical to the other side. So yes, there's going to be a lot of wood up here in the attic. Lots and lots of wood. Okay, let's duplicate it again. And again. I think what I might do here is I might just scale this in a little bit, I think. Let's see if we can get away with scaling it in without it looking too odd. So then we can scale this one in a bit. Make this one a bit bigger. I like to try and keep the border between the beams. You see how the paneling has like this wooden border around the outside? It looks cleaner than sort of spreading it behind the beam. I just don't want to make sure that you're not going to notice that the squares are a little bit different shape, like a bit narrower here than they are here, but I don't think you're going to notice. I think you should be good. Same probably with this one. I might bring it in a little bit. That one will be okay. See what I've done there. All right, I've got to make sure if I'm doing a double join here, I should make sure I do double joins here as well, which is okay. I've done that there. I've done that there. That's good. This one. See, we're getting it spread behind the panel, but behind the beam. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that. What do I have? What do I have? Let's see. Let's see if I can get in here to copy it. Yeah, so this is more tricky, this one, because I can't scale that corner piece because of the angle on the end. It'll change the angle. And if I try and scale this in to fit, it's going to narrow up those squares too much. So that's not going to work. And we may just have to live with the panelling going behind the beam there. There's no way I can really fix that, aside from making a special piece that would just fit there, which I may end up doing, but for now we'll leave it like that. Let's move this one over. Duplicate it again. And scale them in a bit. And then let me go into lit mode so we can see the doorway. We can't see it at all at the moment. And then we just have a narrow piece here, which hopefully one of those more narrow pieces we had over here will fit into. Hopefully. Oh, almost perfect. Andrew Doss says, if the player doesn't see it, the piece behind the beam, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But it also won't take much. No, it won't. But what it will mean is I'll have to add another asset that I didn't really want to add. We can still reuse the same texture and stuff. That's not an issue. But it just does mean adding one more mesh, basically, which isn't a big deal. We can get away with doing that. I think what I'll end up doing is I'm just going to go out of lit mode here. When we start placing bits and pieces to fill the room up, I'll try and place them in front of this beam, which will help hide it. Looks like I might just be out a little bit here. I might move this one over a bit. But I could jump back into Max and I could cut a piece of beam that's only those three pieces to fit just that section there. And then I could probably reuse it for that section there. So it'll get two uses, but I've tried to design it so we can reuse these beams these panels in as many different spots as possible, so we can hardware instance them, just to help to speed the engine up a little bit. Looks like I might need to bring you forward, I think. Maybe not. Let's look at the end piece here now. So if I copy one of these, and we rotate it 180 degrees. We're going to be jumping into Max in a minute anyway, because I want to make some changes to the beams in the other room. So we might just make that piece and fix it up, because little things like that really niggle me. I mean, the odds of somebody spotting it in the game are pretty low. You guys are going to know because you've been watching the making of. But if I see things like that in a game, I just think, oh, you lazy, lazy person. So I probably will end up fixing it up in a minute when we jump into Max. Just because, yeah, and things like that, they really niggle me in a game. There are reasons, sometimes time reasons, why studios do things like that, which is fair enough. But if you can avoid it, I'd prefer to avoid it. Let's just scale these in a bit so they fit between our beams. Andrew Love says, I fully, yeah, I don't want to criticize studios that do it because you're under time constraints. There are other more important things studios have to think about when they're making a game most times anyway. So yeah, I don't want to sort of criticize people that do it, studios that do it, but when it comes to my own work, I don't like to take shortcuts like that if I can avoid them. Unless there's a good reason I need to do it. Like I said, maybe you have a budget and you can't go over certain... there can be reasons, that you might not be able to do it, but I should be able to do it, so I should fix it up to do it properly. Do it right or don't do it at all. It's a simple, quick fix as well, so... I think that's all of our paneling. I don't know if you were here, Android, last when I mentioned I just made a change to the texture here by duplicating the original material, so we're not using more texture memory, but just adding to the duplicate a general dirt pattern. Just to make the attic look a bit more disused and a bit old. Okay, so I think that's all of the decorative paneling. Again, too, I probably wouldn't normally use paneling like this in the attic, but I want to reuse the same asset because of texture budgets more than anything, really. So let's before we fix this up, let's fix up the this room here, because this these beams that sort of end here like this, which I don't like the fact that it sort of just ends like that. That doesn't look great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move these beams, this whole beam run over so it's right in the edge of between these two windows, more like it is on this end here. So it's going to be a bit fiddly simply because I'm going to have to export a couple of times to get the position correct. So I'm just going to angle my camera here where it should be, do a quick save. Although I have to admit, the Unreal Engine has been pretty stable. It's only crashed on me, I think, once or twice in the whole project so far. So kudos to Epic Games. They've made it quite stable. Having said that, it'll crash on me now. So now we're going to jump into Max, and I already have the beams loaded up. So basically the beams are a separate object to the ceiling. It's just like a frame that we see here. I've just got to wait for Max to catch up. There we go. So it's this beam here. So this run through here. I'm going to go into sub-object mode here and select these beams. And I'm going to have to guesstimate now as to how much I have to move them over. I'm going to say that much. And we're going to re-export the model again. First roof walls, I believe that's where I put them. Attic doors, new attic roof, beams. I think they're in, no, they're not in beams. Maybe they're in planks. Just before I export, roof one frame, okay. I just can't remember where I saved the original file, so let's jump back into Unreal real quick. And I can find that asset, which is down here. Models, attic deco beam, okay. Attic deco beam, that's the folder I saved them into, and it's called roof one frame, so this one here. Now we can jump back into Unreal and I can just re-import this mesh. Oh, how was that for a guess? It's so close, so close. Just needs to come over a little bit more. So let's jump back into Max, back into sub-object mode. Might do it in the top viewport. And we're going to move it over just a touch. Re-export the mesh. Roof one frame. And re-import it one more time. We're actually going to have to re-import it twice because I want to move the central beam as well. But I want to get this one right first. And that's good enough for me. Now I just need to make sure that this beam is in the middle here, and it's not, so I'm just going to have to change that up. That'll be easier to see in Max here because we can see exactly which beam, whether it's going to be in the center or not. So we want that one, and that one. I could probably actually remove that beam because it's being hidden, but I'll leave it. And we want to move it over until it's about the middle. And export it. And roof one frame. Just before I do that, I'm just going to jump back into Max. It looks like I might have a couple of errant polys that are difficult to see that I'm going to get rid of. That's better. Well, looks like I might still have a couple. That's better. Okay, let's export it for one last time. And re-import it. Alright, now we should be good. Now, the reason I wanted to do that was a twofold. I wanted to make sure the beams were between this central sticky out section because I want to duplicate these arches and I want them to be to line up with the window section. Andrew Lost is saying, are you using Max 2021? Yes, I forgot if you've updated it or not. Actually, it's 2021.2, but there's a smart extrusion tool that's been added. Yes, I am. I am using the very latest version of 3D Studio Max 2021.2. And there is this really cool new extrusion in Max 2021.2. I haven't actually used it yet, but it's very, from what I've seen, it's very cool. Let's do it. There's a couple of things I have to do here before we jump back into Max. I re-imported the model, and by default, when you re-import a model into the Unreal Engine, it re-adds the default collision, which I don't want. Because if I look at the model now here in the browser and I turn collision on, you'll see what I mean. See, it's added. Basically what this means is that the player won't be able to move once they spawn. They won't be able to get into the attic, basically, because of the collision. So we need to remove the collision and resave the model. Okay, let's do a quick save. While I remember, I'm going to jump in and make those changes to the paneling. Actually, it looks like I've got a 3-piece here. Yeah, this piece is 3 wide. And this one's 3 wide as well. So what is going on there? Let's go back here and have a look. Yeah, I have a feeling, even though they're 3 wide, that they're still too wide. There's a couple of ways I could do this, you know. I'm just thinking, maybe a better way for us to do this is, instead of me re-exporting an entire panel piece to fit just in there, I'm going to re-export just one of these beams that surround the paneling. Let's tackle it that way. That will mean that we use even less polys. Let's save this out. We use less polys and it's easier to move around. So I'm just going to open up the file that has that paneling in it. Actually, I think the one we're in is the one that has it in it. I've just got it hidden. Yep. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just detach one of these beams as a clone. We will recenter the pivot. And I'm just going to call this one Attic Panel Board. Let's export that. Make sure main attic panel. We're going to call it Attic Panel Board. Let's import that into Unreal. Where did I put it? I thought I put it in this folder, but it doesn't look like I did. So where did I put it? Did I put it in here? Where did I save it? Man! Am I going blind? Where did I put it? I put it in Models, Attic, Attic Deco Beam. That's what I thought. Attic Panel Board. Did I save over a file I shouldn't have? 'Cause it's not there. I hope I didn't do that. I'll find out if I have to re-import one of those assets. Attic panel board, there we go, save. Okay. It didn't warn me about overriding anything though, so I don't know. Let's import it now. Attic panel board, that's the one we want. Wow. I'm going to copy the material we're using for these so it all stays consistent. Collision should be fine. I shouldn't need to do any lotting because it's only 82 triangles anyway, so that should all be good. Let's rename this to underscore mesh to a save all. That means we can now delete this material because we're not using it. And delete this texture because we're not using it. Okay, so now we should be able to bring the board in. Let's just get the scaling correct. We need to rotate it. You see my pivot point is all? That's because I didn't do a reset on the X-form. I hate working like this where the pivot is way away from the object. It makes it confusing. So to fix that, I'm just going to jump back into Max, select that and do a reset on the X-form. Collapse my stack and re-export it. Smurf says reset X-form, break every instance. What do you mean? Well, if you reset, if you have things set up in Unreal before you do a reset, and then you do a reset and re-import, yeah, it's going to move your axes, which is going to mess with everything you've placed in the scene. Let's re-import the model. Now we have our pivot where it should be. So now what I can do is I can fake it by putting one of them there. I mean, we are getting a bit of an issue here where the square is not quite the same, but this is one way to fix it. But I think I might actually still go back and export one of those panels on its own, because I don't like that. I don't like the fact that the squares on this end are not the same as these ones here. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to export one that is 2 squares wide. Triggered, that's right, it has triggered me. It has triggered me. So instead of doing it that way, what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to leave that in the Unreal Engine. We may be able to use just a board somewhere else, leaning up against a wall on the ground, you know what I mean? Just as general clutter or something. We may be able to find a use for it anyway. So I'm just going to go into isolation mode here on this piece. And let's go into the front viewport. Okay, I'm just waiting for Max to catch up here. It can be a bit sluggish with Unreal running in the background. And I found, this is what Max's viewports sometimes, when you go full screen like this, can get really sluggish. So I'm just going to jump out of full screen, because if you're not in full screen like that, it's fine. I don't know what that is, what that's about. Autodesk, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. We're going to select that. We're going to throw down a slice plane, rotate it around. And move the slice plane to probably here, and slice it. And then we're going to deselect everything up to that cut. And then we're going to delete those. Now I'm just going to go into sub-object mode, and I'm going to duplicate this piece here. Max there used to be when you held the shift key down to do a duplicate, it would duplicate it, but now all it does seems to do is move it. I don't understand why that change was made. Anyway, we can detach the clone. Move it over. We'll just also detach the top and bottom piece here. Not as a clone. So now I can select these pieces and we can move them over. And we can reattach everything. Reset the pivot and reset the X-form. What are we going to call this? Let's go out of isolation mode. I really should have duplicated that before I actually cut it up. That's okay. What I won't resave this file just in case I need to come back, but just can't remember what I called these panel pieces. It should be okay. I think I have one of those pieces. No, I don't. Yep. Okay. I'll save it as a new version. That's what I'll do. Adding panel 2 times for 2 squares. Let's export that. Adding panel 2 times. Before I forget, I'm going to save this as a new version. So we'll go with version 3. I'm going to reopen version 2 just so I can get myself organized, because if I ever have to come back and make a change to one of the assets in the game, so I have to re-export the model again from Max. If I don't stay nice and organized, I'm going to get myself into all sorts of trouble. So I'm going to open up the version 2, which was this one. And I'm going to just save out this original panel that I just changed before making a copy of. So we're going to use save selected. I'm just going to call it panel. Jump back into version 3, which is the latest version we've been working with. Don't save. I'm going to import and merge just the panel that we exported. It's just complaining because we have the same material assigned twice. And I'm just going to move that over like that. So now we're good. And resave it. So now I'm nice and organized, so if I ever have to come back in the future and I've forgotten what I did, 2 months ago, it won't be an issue for me to fix it up. Let's jump into the Unreal Engine. Let's load up the new 2-panel version. We want to copy the material from one of the other versions. We want the dirty panel, not the clean panel. I might actually do some lotting on this one. So we're doing a 30%, 70% reduction on the tries. So down to 30. We're doing lodding, and I always like to load manually. I don't like to let the engine decide. So we're doing 0.75 and 0.5 to 3 load levels. So 0.75 and 0.5. Euro, it's good to see you, Euro. How are you? How many triangles does a square have? That's right. It's good to see you, Euro. Hope you're well. Euro says 2, or is this a trick question? It's good to see you, Euro. So now we can bring in our 2-panel version. We can make sure our scaling is the same. We'll rotate it around 90 degrees. I'm just going to remove that panel that we're replacing. Yuri says, I'm good, been a lurking like a champ. Oh, cool. Smurf says, did you individually model the metal bands? What metal bands? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? There are no metal bands on this. This is all wood, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about the these bits through here, yes, they are modelled. Again, they're a copy of what we use downstairs, and the reason they're modelled and not done in a normal map is because I want to get nice shadowing and lighting happening once the light hits it, which you can't fake with a normal map. So now let's get these lined up. I might just scale it just a touch wider. Let's duplicate it. And I'm going to scale this one up a little bit. And that's better. Not triggered now. Yeah, much better. All right, now we've got all of our wooden paneling done. We can do a quick save. Euro says every single atom, Snurpery. Oh, you're talking to Euro. Okay. And I can have a copy while Unreal saves that. Let's do some housekeeping and rename that mesh _MSH. We can delete this material because we're not using it. And we can delete this texture because we're not using it. Alright, so far so good. Smurf says, I thought it was iron because it was darker. Don't judge me. It's wood. It's a darker wood though. So you got half right. You got it half right. It is darker, but it's a darker wood. It is modelled, but I mean, it's only 2 triangles basically at the front and 2 at the sides. So it's only like 10 triangles. It's not a huge poly count. It's not increasing the poly count dramatically by adding mesh there and there and there, really. That and the fact too that we're going to, like I said, hardware instance all of these panels anyway. So as far as the engine and the game is concerned, it'll only be read into memory once, and then the GPU will instance it around. Euro says, I'm enjoying this work vacation, 3 weeks to go, and I haven't done anything other than play video games. Oh, half your luck. I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to play a video game in ages and months. And I miss playing video games. I do like playing a video. It's a good way to escape playing a video game. I just don't have the time, so I'm very jealous, Hero. Smurfberry says, so how can you load something that's already as low as it can go? It's not as low as it can... Well, smart ass. Well, basically with lodding though, let me see if I can find an example here actually to show you. Just for you, Smurf. When the engine loads something, it actually removes more polys than it should if you were close to it. So basically, I'm trying to show you an example of what I mean, because there is an asset here somewhere that when you pull really far back, you can see that it's missing half its triangles. But you don't notice it because you're so far away. Well, you won't in game anyway. Which one was doing that? Maybe the crate. So as we pull back on the crate, I don't know if this is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, you can you see how it's changed, how it changes with lodding. Basically, it's removing more polys, and you can see it's sort of like through the edge here, how it's not straight until you get within lodd distance. So it's basically removing more polys than it really should for the asset. But you're so far away, you're not going to notice it. So there you go. That's how you can remove more polys than Lord can remove something that's already as low as it can go. Because it's not actually as low as it can go when you're right up. Well, it is, but you can get away with removing more the further away you get. You actually, can you see the change happening there? If you look through the middle here with these dark sort of flowery bits, as I pull back, you see how it changes? That's the lodding. Removing more polys than it really should. I may have to pull that up once we actually start doing more playtesting in this room to see if the player is going to notice that. I mean, the chances the player may not notice it when the room is lit correctly. We notice it now because we're in unlit mode, but once the room gets lit correctly, the player is unlikely to notice it. But if they do, then I'll make some changes to the lodding. Euro says, map it to oblivion. That's right. Smurfberry says, so you're actually tweaking the lodd settings to stop it from lodding as hard. Yeah. Basically what I like to do with any of the assets, I Unreal has a feature built into it where it will auto-LOD for you, and it will work out the distance it starts to LOD at. So it doesn't always make the right choices for the asset and the distance, because it really depends on the location of where the asset is. So I always like to go through and do it manually. It does mean I have to do it on every asset that I import, but generally what I do is the minute I import the asset, like you saw me do, I go through and do the LODing so I don't forget. So you are, that's correct, Smurf. I actually do tweak the LODing to stop it from LODing as hard, which I may have to do here with these pieces that are LODing when we get back here. It might be LODing a bit too hard here. But I'll wait till we get the lighting done and then I'll see if it's noticeable or not. Here it says they're adding more LODs so the transition is smoother. Yes, well that's an option too. We've been working to 3 LOD levels for the game. But yeah, you can always add more. There's no limit, I don't think, on the number of LODs you can add. But let's hope with Unreal Engine 5 LODing is no longer necessary, because apparently you can have unlimited polygons and unlimited textures and unlimited draw calls and everything sounds wonderful. So we'll see. But that would be sweet, I have to say, that would be sweet. Android Lost says, I didn't know Unreal LODs automatically. It does automatically do it for you. Yep. Euro says, oh, because everyone has a supercomputer to do that. That's right. Well, that's apparently Unreal Engine 5. That's the way it's being promoted by Epic, is unlimited polygons, unlimited textures, unlimited draw calls. Which, like I said, if they can pull that off, that would be super sweet. Because there's nothing, that's one of the things that make, the reason the games take so long to be made, one of the reasons, is, you know, having to do all of this optimization work on your game. So not having to optimize would be sweet. We'll see. We'll see. Euro says UE uses Simplygon. Does, yeah, I don't know. It used to use, Simplygon used to be a plugin you could purchase to use in Unreal, and I think it might have been part of UE3. But I think with UE4, you had to pay for Simplygon. And then Epic Games created their own version of LODing that they built into the engine. So you can still use Simplygon as a plugin, which you pay for. But Epic Games, I believe, made their own LODing system that they put into later versions of the engine of UE4. So yeah, but I don't know if it's based on Simplygon or what. I'm not sure. But Simplygon used to be built into UE3, and it was a plugin for UE4, and I believe still is a plugin, but you do have to pay for it. So, and it ain't cheap. But Epic Games' LODing system is incredibly good. I wouldn't bother with Simplygon personally, because Epic did such a good job with their LODing. So, integrated, yeah, it was integrated into UE3. It is a plugin now in UE4, I believe, but you don't need it because Epic Games' version of LODing that they created is incredibly good. Android Last says, the only issue I see with UE5 is that it could set game expectations way too high. Well, it's going to create a problem for a lot of independent developers, simply because people, like you said, are going to expect games to look absolutely super amazing. There's no reason an indie couldn't do that, but indies have very small teams of people working on the game. And when you start working with, when people start to expect incredibly high polygon models, detailed high polygon models, that sort of stuff takes a long time to model out. You know, even in ZBrush, it takes time to do that. So you can't get away with just a boxy model anymore. You've got to model this, you know, million polygon, super high res, detailed model. So that's going to push development times up. I have a feeling that's probably one of the reasons why, and this is just a guess, by the way, nothing I've been told or heard. One of the reasons that Epic Games probably bought Quixel and the Megascans library is probably to try and help indie developers in the future as well with getting their games done in time, because creating those high poly models does take a lot of time. I mean, you're going to save time by not having to optimize them, but making them is still going to take a lot of time. Smurf says, high resolution nostril hair. That's right. You can see every strand of hair in the character's nostril. Android Lost says that, and every game will use Unreal. Well, if they can pull that off, what they're saying, where it's unlimited polygons, unlimited draw calls, unlimited textures, that's a pretty big game changer for games development. It's never been like that before. And what you'll be able to create will be amazing. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. If they can do it the way that they say they can, I'm certainly looking forward to it. But it is going to push game sizes astronomically, though. I mean, they're going to use some form of compression, apparently, so that hopefully game sizes won't be pushed out to like a gigabyte to download a game. But it is going to make game size downloads bigger. It's going to make patches maybe bigger as well. And I said to you guys, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So just because the Unreal 5 say you can use unlimited polygons, unlimited draw calls, unlimited textures, doesn't mean you necessarily should for everything. Just like pick your battles, basically. Euro says, I got some high poly models that could probably crush UE, I'm sure. Non-optimization is lazy though. It's reducing the required skill set to make efficient assets. Well, that's true. That is true. It is lazy. But, you know, a lot of studios are on timelines, particularly if they're beholden to a publisher. So basically they don't get paid till they meet their deliverable. And so they push things through as quickly as they can to get the money as soon as they can because they have to pay payroll and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, I don't like tarring every developer who doesn't do optimization properly as lazy, even though that could be the reason. Because a lot of them are under a lot of pressure with deliverables and certain timelines and all that sort of jazz. Smurf says terabyte, that's right. Sorry, yes, a terabyte. Android Lost says 2-minute load screens on SSDs, I can't wait. Euro says, for film TV studios, I can see them doing that because they don't care how much processor power they need to throw behind it. Well, that's true. I mean, the Unreal Engine is being promoted for game and film now. Sorry, for film and TV and visual effects, as well as ArchViz. So, you could be right. But we're going to get some amazing looking games. If nothing else, if we can use high poly models, we're going to get much more realistic looking games. For sure. But I would still say just because you can doesn't mean you should if you're making a game. Because it stands to reason, really, that the less strain you put on the GPU as far as loading up high poly models that don't need to be high poly, the faster the game will run. Even if you can have unlimited polygons, doing optimization will still be a benefit, I'm sure. Okay, so let us move back into this room because I like to start here and work my way back. Looks like I might be a little bit out. Okay, we've got another one of these ones where the panel goes behind the wall like that, which I really don't like. So I'm going to remove this one and we're going to do what we did with the other room. So let's see if we can duplicate these ones. Let's rotate them around 180 degrees. Where are my panels? And I probably should not have rotated them 180 degrees. Let's rotate them back. Oh, Phil. Those black lines you see traveling through the scene, that's a glitch I've noticed with Unreal 4.25. It seems to, if you delete an object from the scene, the engine seems to lose its mind a little bit sometimes. Don't know why. It's fine. The way to fix it is to save the scene, close Unreal Engine down and reload it, which we may do if it starts to get annoying. It seems to have fixed itself now. So let us scale these. I think I need to swap these around actually, so let's move this one over here and let's move this one over here. Mira says, in my opinion, you should always aim to be as optimized as possible. Less polys equals more performance, provided those assets are modeled well. Yeah, no, I would not disagree, Euro. I agree 100%. You should always aim to optimize, regardless of whether you need to or not, you should, because it's, like you said, for performance, it's the best way to go. Because why throw away performance for no reason? Move this one over. Scale it up a little bit. Got to make sure that it's lined up. And that's better. Yep. Alright, let us do a quick save. Grizzly Gear. It's good to see you, Grizzly Gear. Hey to you as well. I'm doing really well. I hope you are too. I was telling the guys yesterday that the city I live in, we're in lockdown for the next 2 months. We're not going to get out of lockdown till the end of October. And what that means is I'm going to start to look very shaggy because I can't get my hair cut or anything. So expect by the next 8 weeks, the end of the next 8 weeks, Phil's going to start to look pretty Grizzly Adams. But I'm good apart from that. I hope you're doing well. No haircuts for 3 months. Phil won't have had a haircut by the end of next month for 3 months. It's already been a month and it's grown out of control, so give it 2 more and yeah, I'll look like Grizzly Adams. That and the fact that we have this curfew until we can't go out at night. We can only go out for an hour every day during the day, and that's only for like shopping or going to the doctor. Man. But I'm happy to put up with it if it means getting rid of the human malware where I live, so, which is what they're trying for. Let's duplicate this archway. Let's just move down here so I can see what I'm doing. So basically I want to place these archways on each of these beams. Just a little curious whether I can get away with doing it down here simply because of the stairway. I'll do it, and I'm going to see if it's going to block the stairway too much or if it's going to look a bit too cluttered, so we can just delete it if it does. That gap we're seeing there, that's because these beams are not straight, they're like damaged, so. But we're going to be hiding that by throwing a brown or a black texture on the actual roof. So I'm just going to see if a third archway here will work or not. I think we probably will be okay as far as the player goes, because I know from play testing this, the player's head comes up to about here, so it will be able to walk under the arches just as well. But I just want to make sure it doesn't make things look too heavy, basically. Just going to go into lit mode, even though we're not going to get a good indication of what it looks like because the lighting is not set up. It'll just help me get a better idea, though, of what it's going to look like. I think we might be okay. Yeah, no, I think we might be okay. And it keeps the consistent look where there's an arch on every one of these beam sections, so... oh, okay, it looks like I might have forgotten. What a surprise. One of these beams, when we were doing the roof sections and we moved that beam, I forgot to move this one, so I'm going to have to jump back into Max. Again, I've just got to wait for Unreal to release the graphics card here before I can jump into Max. I can tell once my mouse cursor starts speeding up that it's released the graphics card. You'll see my background speed up as well, the animation. Come on. There we go. Let's jump back into Max. Let me find that and isolate it. Yeah, you see here I forgot to move this beam. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to our paneling as well, but that's okay. These need to line up, otherwise they look odd. Let us export it. And this is our roof one frame. Roof one frame. And we can re-import it again into Unreal. Grizzly Gear says, I'm doing good, just working on things. You're going to have hair like me at the end of it? Stay safe for sure, yeah. Yeah, I'd rather I'd rather look like Grizzly Adams and unkept, if it means, because what they're trying to do, what they call an eradication strategy in Melbourne where I live. Basically they're trying to get rid of the virus completely, or the human malware completely. So that's why they're locking things down for as long as they are, which is fine. Look, I don't mind not having being able to have my hair cut for the next 2 months. That's fine. If it means saving people's lives, then I'm all for it. It's not an issue at all. Do me good not to get my hair cut every month anyway. It's not like I got to go see clients, so it's fine. Andrew Loss says, if only the US would do that. Yeah, you guys, you got to get on top of it. You guys in the US, it's really bad. You guys are coming up to 190,000 people dead, basically, in your country. You lead the world. You're number one. You are number one, US, in deaths of human malware. Smurf says, I started planning for human malware in 2008. Wow, you're ahead of the curve, Smurf. Why didn't you warn the rest of us if that was the case? If you knew and you didn't warn us, what sort of friend are you? Come on. Android Lost says, we like being number one in everything. Yeah, that's right. Well, you are number one in the human malware. US, you are number one, so well done. Oh. Yeah, no. Look, I understand it's hard though, because in this country we've got federal politicians saying open up, open up, open up, and then we've got our state premier where I live saying close down, close down, close down. So they're constantly bickering at each other anyway. Half of them want to open up, half of them want to close down. Then you get people protesting saying, how dare you lock me up? Why can't I go outside? How dare you tell me I have to wear a mask? Why do I have to wear a mask? You guys in the US, I'm sure and around the world, you guys know what people are like. Anyway. Android Lust says, sounds like us. It's pretty much. Grizzly Gear says, be right back, running the dog out. No problem. Yeah, so I think the having the 3 arches there is fine. It's not making this look too heavy. Yeah, no, I think we should be good. All right, let's get out of lit mode, back into unlit mode. And let's start placing the wooden slats on the sidewalls. So, let's see if Phil can remember which wooden slat goes where, because I got quite a few. I believe. I think. I can't remember. Oh man. Let me jump back into Max because I can use that as a reference. Because that's what they actually were created for. I should say. So. This one is called Wood Planks Wall 3. Wall 1. Oh, wall 3. Okay, I couldn't see it because it was at the wrong angle here. I'm just going to change my thumbnail view here so I can see what's going on a bit better. Alright, so wall 3 will be this one. And it will need to be rotated this way. No, this way. And we need to scale it up. Ooh, you're working my last nerve. Stop that. Once I get the scale for one of them correct, then it should be easier for me to do the others, because I can just copy the scale value. Okay, let us. I like to do these or weird shaped pieces first, and then do the straight pieces last. It just makes it a bit easier for me. This one will be, I believe, number 5, I think. Yep. So let's drag 3, 5. Let's drag that one in. And let's check our scale value. Why is the scale value different? Gotta make sure I'm not actually coming through the roof here. That should be fine. I'm just curious as to why. I do have the right piece, don't I? That's 5, that's 4, that's 3. Wait a minute, let me check. Oh, okay, it's because I moved the, they were designed to fit the beams and we moved the beams. That's the reason that we have a misfit happening. So I'm just going to have to make some alterations to these as well. Just let me... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use soft selection here in Max. Change my fall off quite a bit. And I'm going to have to stretch these out. Now I can re-export this as wood planks wall 5. Which will be wood planks wall 1, wall 3, wall 4, wall 5, so on. Let's just re-import that again. I'm just going to reset my scaling again and then we'll go from there. I just have to make sure I get my beams lined up across the corner. Okay, let's look at... Yeah, looks like that wall section there as well is going to have to be changed. Which is this one here. Back into isolate. We'll use soft selection again. It just helps, soft selection just helps me from avoid stretching my UVs too much. And this one is wood planks wall 4. Wood planks wall 4. You're back? Cool. I also just want to make sure as I re-import these that I remove collision on these just so it doesn't make any, just in case it blocks the player. It probably wouldn't, but there's no point having collision up there anyway because the player's not ever going to go anywhere near it. So no point having collision. Wall 4, which is this one, we're going to re-import. And turn collision off or remove collision. Let's bring that one in and rotate it. See if I rotate it the right way. That's the right way. Good. And we can copy our scaling value. So you've taken the dog out. Move you in and position you correctly. And again, I could have chosen just to add a wooden texture map on the ceiling, but we're not going to get these. When the light hits it, it's not going to look as good as having actual boards. And as long as we load the boards correctly, it's not going to cause too much of a performance problem either. So we should be good. I'm just going to scale this in a little bit. It's a bit wide. Let's make sure we're lining it up correctly. I think it might be a little tall as well. Shouldn't be though. No, I think my scaling was off there. I need to keep it the same. Maybe I'll bring it down just a little bit. Let's just turn lit mode on so I can see what that's looking like. And remember, I will be changing the texture map on the ceiling that you see behind here from white to probably black or a dark brown. I'm just going to use a solid color. I'm not going to even be using a texture map because it's not going to be seen. I think that should work. Let's go back into unlit mode. Make sure we do a quick save. And I can have a copy while it's saving. Okay. Now we have this bit down here, which I like to do. Again, one of these really weird shaped end pieces. And that one will be... that is wall section 8. Which is this one here. So it's this wall over here we're looking at. Again, let's rotate it. Just want to copy my scaling value. And this wall down here should be a copy of this wall here, just flipped. Oh, we want to translate it on the y-axis. And just bring this one down a little bit. Too much. Oh. And everything else now should be straight pieces, I believe. So let's pull the straight one in. Now, when I design these assets, I've designed them so we can look at them from two different sides. That's just so I can get a bit of variation happening, so that they don't, the player won't notice they're being repeated. So we can use it from either side, and the texture is different on each side. So maybe if I get in a bit closer, you can see it. So the pattern is different on either side, not the same. Hellforge, good morning to you. It's good to see you, buddy. So yeah, that's the reason. And again, I designed these straight pieces so that we can duplicate them and and turn them into hardware instances later on. So let's get the scale correct. I'm going to do this wall first because it's straight and this one's at an angle, so it's a bit annoying. So let's do the straight part first. I'm just going to make sure my scaling is correct. So now we can duplicate this piece and rotate it 180 degrees. So we're looking at a different texture on the other side. Again though, I'm going to scale it in a bit. This piece here, I think we need to duplicate this piece here. And again, we want to do a translate on the x-axis. Maybe not. No, that's straight. Let me redo that. Or do we? Let me think about this for a minute. Not sure. We'll come back to that. Let me just turn lit mode on again. I can get a better idea of what's going on here. Oh, okay. No, we don't want that there. We want another one of these straight pieces. And we just want to scale it in. And you see, we can see the repeating pattern here and here. Helpwood says pretty smart way of doing it. Helpwood says Discord, thank you. There's the Discord server guy. If you want to join the Discord, click the link Helpwood has just popped into Twitch chat. If you want to wishlist the game you see me working on here, then click the link that Hellforge just popped into chat. Now here's a good example of what I mean. You see how we can see that repeating texture there and there, that damage in the wood? So what we can do is we can just rotate it 180 degrees. And that stops the repetition of the texture. Okay, so let us do the last bit for the wood, which is this angled roof here. And again, I'm just going to use the same straight section and just angle it. So duplicate this one. Use the other side because it's a different texture to what we see there. So I'm not going to rotate it around, but I'm going to rotate it this way so we can get the angle on the roof correct. Let me get my rotation correct. Okay, now because it's angled, this is a section of roof that's actually wider than there. So what I think I'll do here is, what will I do here? Might just do something like this where it looks like a couple of the boards are missing, so it's not completely covered like here. And that means I can then just scale this in a little bit. Then I can duplicate it. And for this one I can move it. Let's move it up, I guess. So it looks like, so instead of a board at the top and the bottom missing, there are two boards at the bottom missing. But what I want to do with this one is I don't want the repeating texture. So I'm going to flip it on the x-axis, maybe. We'll rotate it. We just turn angle snap off. Let's turn lit mode on. The white roof is distracting me, so I'm going to change the color of that now. I'm going to open up the material. And we're going to make it a really deep brown, almost black. And let's just pull back and have a bit of a look at our handiwork here. What have I selected there? I'm just curious. What have I got going on there? Oh, it's the roof. Okay. Healthwatch says, I'd imagine since it's going to be somewhat dim lighting when you're up there in the game, that even if you look around, it's going to be hard to spot repeating texture. Well, that's true. Texture maps up there, even if that's true. Remember, the lighting hasn't been rebuilt here yet. Once the lighting gets rebuilt, this will get much darker, and then we're going to put lighting in specific places to highlight the room anyway. So, Helpwood says, but a weird question, what's the dimension of that piece you're placing now? What do you mean, the dimension? Morpheus, I'm assuming. What's the name of this program? It's Unreal Engine 4. Morpheus. Yep. UE4, which you can download from Epic Games for free. So if you want to play around with it, download it from Epic. We're making a game called The House in the Hollow. That's what you see me working on here at the moment. And we're up in the attic of that game. So yeah, once we rebuild the lighting, the room will get much darker, and then we'll put accent lighting in different spots like the windows. So yeah. What did we go? How are we going here? Good time. All right, let's go back into unlit mode. Spooky dim attic lighting, as Smurfrey says. That's right. We'll get some spooky dim attic lighting going on. Healthboard says the slanted plank piece you were placing in the ceiling. I was just wondering about what the dimension of it was, as I can't see the number. Oh, the number's clearly. It's, well, hard to say. I'm not sure. I've scaled it up so to fit. I couldn't tell you what the actual dimension was. That's a scale value of 4 basically though. Oh, about, yeah, between 4 and 4.5. But I wouldn't take that as that, because that's just scaling it based on the size I exported it from Max. So there are no other dimensions that I could sort of tell you about. But these sections up here now, let's just look at those real quick before I end the stream for the day. So I have these wooden ceiling pieces that I want to bring in. Let's start with this one. We'll rotate it around. Angle snapper's turned on. We're going to scale it up. So we have one there, we want one on the other side. And then we have these little pieces on the end. Let's bring in one of these. And let's duplicate that, put down the other end. And this piece here needs to be a little bit longer. Okay, so we have these decorative wooden panel pieces here. Let's do a quick save. Yeah, sorry, I can't. Help what says figured I'd ask. Yeah, I can't sort of give you a dimension because I scaled it up from max, but what we might do is, how are we going here? Yeah, it's almost the end of the stream. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just play in editor here really quick so that you guys can see me walking around and stuff. I won't be going downstairs because the game studio told me I have to stay in the rooms I'm working in, but they didn't tell me I couldn't play test it while I'm working on it, so we're going to do that. Looks like I might have got my they're not going to be happy. I don't think I was correctly positioned. I think that's the problem. Let me just do that again. No. What is going on? Did I move my floor? I'll be very annoyed if I move my floor. There's the floor there. No, there's the floor there. That should be fine. Oh, I know what it is. Remember how I was telling you with the collision, because we changed the beams? I said to you, if you try and play the level and you don't remove the collision, you're not going to be able to play. Kiss Fisher says, I had my eyes closed, you're fine. Burberry says, character spawner. Helpwood says, hey King. Android Lost says, wondering if you'd spawned in the attic or not. Yeah, no, basically what's happening here is I'm spawning in the attic, but because I forgot to remove the collision when we re-imported the beams here, basically it's pushing me out of the attic and down into the ground. So if I look at this one here, remember we did a re-import? If I check if collision is on this, you see how it's added collision again? So basically I just need to remove the collision. And now I should be able to play without being pushed into the ground. And there we go. Lots of wood. Wood everywhere. Again, remember the lighting is not correct. This interior needs to be rebuilt, and once the lighting is rebuilt in here, this room's going to turn pretty much black because there's no lighting in here. So it will change the look quite a bit once I finish setting it all up. Then I'll rebuild the lighting, and then we'll set up the actual proper lighting for inside the room. You can probably hear the music playing in the background. Sorry about that, guys. That's just part of the level. It picks a random piece of music to play while you're exploring.
A hidden door in the bookcase.
May as well just quickly check the other room, considering we were working on it. So anyway, we made a good start on the attic. We can pick things up, I think, next week. Android Lust says, I hate attics in real life. So, that's what we will do, I think. We will pick this up. Let's make sure we did a save again. We'll pick it up again next week, but I think we might leave it there for today, guys and girls. I do want to thank you, though, for hanging out with me, being here, and for watching. I want to thank Android Lust again for the 32-month subscription. Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate it. But as Android Lust says, but this one's fancy. I hate attics, but this one's fancy. It is a fancy attic. I wasn't actually going to make it pretty, and I'm still not aiming for pretty. But I want to make it interesting because the rest of the building is an Art Nouveau building. It's an interesting building, so we couldn't just give it a really plain, a really boring looking attic. We had to make it a bit special. But we'll pick this up again on Monday next week when I'm live next. We will probably start working on the other room in the attic, like putting the wooden beams in and all that jazz. And then I think what we'll do is we'll work on texturing up the floor, and that'll give us a good base then for us to start working on as far as setting up bits and pieces in the attic, like, you know, old broken picture frames and all that sort of jazz. And then setting the lighting up eventually after that. But you guys and girls have a great weekend. Take care, stay safe. And I will see you all again on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time. See you guys.